German police investigating the disappearance of Madeleine McCann are carrying out new searches in Portugal this week.
On May 3, 2007, a British family's vacation in Praia da Luz, Portugal, turned into a nightmare. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared from her family's holiday apartment. Days before her 4th birthday, her disappearance sparked a global mystery. Nearly 2 decades later, it remains unsolved. Tonight, we explore this case in detail. We'll examine the events of that night, follow the massive investigation, analyze the theories, and discuss why Madeleine's story still captivates millions. Get ready. This is a story of hope, loss, and a search that never ends. Madeleine Beth McCann was a lively toddler from Rothley, Leicestershire, UK. Born on May 12, 2003, she had bright blonde hair and a distinctive mark in her right eye, a coloboma. Her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, Kate a general practitioner, Jerry a cardiologist, took Madeleine and their 2-year-old twins, Sean and Amelie, to the Ocean Club Resort on Portugal's Algarve coast in April 2007. They stayed in apartment 5A, a ground floor unit near the pool and a tapas restaurant 55 meters away. 7 friends, known as the Tapas 7, joined them, doctors and professionals with their young children. The resort felt safe, ideal for a family vacation. But May 3rd changed everything. That evening started normally. At 8:30 p.m., Kate and Jerry left their sleeping children in 5A to join their friends at the Tapas restaurant. They agreed to check on the kids every 15 to 30 minutes. Police records show Jerry checked at 9:05 p.m. Madeleine was asleep, the bedroom window closed, shutters down. At 9:30 p.m., friend Matthew Oldfield looked in. He heard no noise but didn't fully enter. At 10 p.m., Kate returned. Madeleine was gone. The window was open, the shutter raised. Kate's scream, "Madeleine's gone," broke the silence. Panic took over. The immediate aftermath, the resort became chaotic. Staff, guests, and locals searched the area. Language barriers caused confusion. The Portuguese police, Polícia Judiciária, PJ, arrived after 10:15 p.m. They didn't secure the crime scene or set up roadblocks. An Interpol alert was issued hours later. These early errors, noted in reports, hurt the investigation. Evidence may have been lost, and witnesses may have left. The critical first hours passed without progress. The PJ focused on abduction. Jane Tanner, from the Tapas 7, reported seeing a man at 9:15 p.m. carrying a child near 5A, walking toward the beach. Her description led to an EFIT sketch, but the man was never found. In the first year, police questioned over 600 people. Sightings of Madeleine were reported in Morocco, Belgium, Brazil, and elsewhere. Searches covered reservoirs, beaches, and areas near Praia da Luz. No evidence, no clothes, no DNA, no body was found. The absence of clues was frustrating. The case became a global phenomenon. Madeleine's face, with her unique eye mark, appeared everywhere. Posters covered airports. Her image flashed on TV screens. It even appeared on milk cartons in some countries. The McCanns, using their professional networks, launched a media campaign. In June 2007, they started the Find Madeleine Fund. It raised over £2 million in its first year for private investigators and awareness. High-profile figures stepped in. Pope Benedict XVI met the McCanns. Celebrities like David Beckham and J.K. Rowling backed the cause. The campaign kept Madeleine's name alive, but it also invited scrutiny. Media outlets ran wild with speculation. Some questioned the McCanns' parenting. Others spread baseless rumors. In September 2007, the investigation shifted. The PJ named Kate and Jerry Arguidos, or formal suspects. British cadaver and blood dogs were brought in. They alerted to scents in apartment 5A and the McCanns' rental car, used weeks later. Forensic tests were inconclusive. No DNA definitively linked Madeleine to the findings. The Arguido status was lifted in July 2008. There wasn't enough evidence, but the damage was done. Portuguese and UK tabloids ran vicious stories. Some claimed the McCanns had an accident. Others suggested they sold their daughter. Online, trolls sent death threats. The McCanns stayed resolute. they focused on finding Madeleine. Operation Grange takes over. In 2011, the UK government stepped in. The Metropolitan Police launched Operation Grange, funded by the Home Office at over £13 million by June 2025. The team reviewed 40,000 documents and pursued 560 leads. By 2013, they identified 38 persons of interest, including resort staff and known criminals. In 2014, police searched land in Praia da Luz but found nothing. A 2013 e-fit of a suspicious man near the resort raised hopes, but no arrests followed. A major break came in June 2020. German police named Christian Bruckner, a 47-year-old convicted sex offender. He lived in the Algarve from 1995 to 2007. He committed burglaries in Praia da Luz. He had convictions for sexual assaults on children. German prosecutors believe Madeleine is dead. They're investigating Bruckner for murder. Phone records place him in Praia da Luz on May 3, 2007. His profile fits. He targeted holiday homes. But no charges have been filed. Evidence remains circumstantial. No forensics tie him to 5A. Diplomatic pressure and political influence. There's a side of the Madeleine McCann investigation that rarely makes headlines, but it played a major role behind the scenes. Just hours after her disappearance, British diplomatic channels were activated. Not days later, hours. The British ambassador to Portugal was on the ground in Praia da Luz almost immediately. Calls were being made from senior government offices in London to Lisbon for a missing child case abroad. This level of government involvement was far from normal. Why was so much political weight thrown behind one case? That question still divides observers. According to internal reports, British officials placed strong pressure on Portuguese police to support the McCanns. Some investigators claimed they were being discouraged from pursuing certain lines of inquiry. This interference wasn't just speculation, it was detailed in several case reviews. Portuguese detectives have since said they felt their authority was being quietly undermined. As media pressure intensified, political concerns took priority. Portugal's tourism industry was watching. The UK government was watching. The result? Key leads may have been ignored. Certain suspects were never followed up. And what started as a local investigation quickly became entangled in diplomacy and damage control. Looking back, it's hard to say how different the outcome might have been without that pressure. But one thing is clear, the Madeleine McCann case wasn't just a tragedy, it became a political event. The suspect list that quietly disappeared. In the early years, dozens of potential suspects were identified, not just Christian Bruckner. The original Portuguese investigation looked into resort employees, local expats, tourists, and known offenders in the region. At one point, more than 30 individuals were flagged as persons of interest. But as the case evolved, many of those names faded from public view. Some were cleared, others simply dropped from discussion. Why? According to former detectives, the pressure to produce quick results led to tunnel vision. Once Operation Grange focused on the abduction theory, alternative leads were slowly deprioritized. Several suspects who had access to apartment 5A, or who were in Praia da Luz that week, were never officially ruled out. Their files remained sealed. This raises questions. Were valuable leads ignored? Could the answer lie not in new suspects, but in the ones who slipped through the cracks? Private investigators, help or hindrance? Between 2007 and 2011, the McCann spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on private investigators. Firms were hired, fired, and replaced, each promising breakthroughs. Some were legitimate professionals. Others raised concerns. One firm, hired early on, was Metodo 3, a Spanish agency known more for publicity than results. Their team made bold claims, including that Madeleine was alive and would be found within months. None of those claims came true. Another investigator, Kevin Halligan, was later exposed as a fraudster who misused donated funds and produced no credible leads. While the intention behind hiring private help was understandable, the lack of coordination with official police efforts may have caused more confusion than progress. False sightings, sensational tips, and media leaks often stemmed from these third-party investigations. It's a part of the case often glossed over. But it's a reminder that even in high-profile cases, desperation can lead to questionable decisions. What happened to Madeleine? Theories continue to emerge. Operation Grange supports abduction. A stranger, possibly Bruckner, could have entered through the window. Apartment 5's street access made it vulnerable. But no DNA or fingerprints support this. Another theory suggests a burglary gone wrong. Madeleine woke up, and the thief took her to avoid being caught. The area had break-ins, but no evidence confirms this. Some believe Madeleine wandered out through an unlocked patio door, possibly drowning in a pool or being hit by a car. Extensive searches found no body. The open window and raised shutter suggest an intruder. Early on, the PJ suspected the McCanns, theorizing an accident, like a sedative overdose, was covered up. The dog alerts supported this, but forensic tests found no proof. The McCanns' consistent denials and clean records weaken this theory. A pedophile ring is another idea, plausible due to the Algarve's transient tourist population, but no evidence of a network exists. Other theories include a ransom, kidnapping with no demand, a targeted abduction due to Madeleine's distinctive appearance, or a lone resort worker. Over 1,000 employees were interviewed, but none were charged. Each theory explains some details, but lacks solid evidence. Why the case stalled? Early mistakes hurt the investigation. The crime scene wasn't secured, losing potential footprints and fingerprints. The PJ's initial search was limited and focused on the McCanns too soon. The Interpol alert took 12 hours. Tensions between UK and Portuguese police caused issues. Media leaks fueled false stories. The Algarve's tourism economy discouraged locals from speaking out. No DNA, fingerprints, or confirmed sightings exist, making prosecution difficult. A lasting impact, Madeleine's case became a global phenomenon. Her image, frozen at age 3, is iconic. Age-progressed images show her at 22 in 2025, keeping hope alive. The McCanns face ongoing grief and public criticism. Social media and tabloids accuse them of neglect or worse. Yet they continue their Find Madeleine campaign, funding private investigators. Kate's 2011 book, Madeleine, raised £1 million but drew backlash. The case changed society. Resorts tightened security. The UK's Child Rescue Alert System, launched post-2007, has saved dozens of children since 2014. But media coverage often turned cruel, spreading false stories. Online forums dissect every detail, fueling unproven theories. Madeleine's middle-class background amplified her case. Many missing children from less prominent families get less attention. In the US, over 800,000 children vanish yearly, but few become global stories. The case exposed investigative flaws. Portugal's police lacked resources, with only 20 officers initially. Operation Grange, now down to 4 staff in 2025, struggles with cross-border challenges. Media pressure and leaks complicated efforts. The McCanns spent £500,000 on private firms by 2010, but many leads, like a 2013 Moroccan sighting, were false. Why we can't let go, the public remains fascinated. Netflix's 2019 documentary drew millions. Books, podcasts, and blogs keep the case alive. It taps into universal fears, losing a child, and the agony of no answers. The McCanns' decision to leave their kids alone divides opinion. In 2007, 60% of UK parents polled admitted doing the same on holiday, yet many criticized the McCanns. Madeleine's absence affects her family deeply. Her twins, now 20, grew up without her. Kate and Jerry balance guilt and hope, believing she could be alive. A 2023 reservoir search near Praia da Luz found nothing. German police continue investigating Bruckner, who's in prison for other crimes. A 2024 court ruling delayed his case. Operation Grange has received over 2,000 tips since 2011, but none solved the case. What's the truth? An abduction seems likely, with Bruckner a strong suspect, but no proof exists. Was it an accident? A cover-up? A random crime? The open window and silence are key clues. Someone knows what happened, a witness, a friend, maybe Bruckner. Until they speak, Madeleine's fate remains unknown. Her story challenges our sense of justice and demands answers. What do you think happened to Madeleine? Abduction? Accident? Something else? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective could spark a new lead. If this case moved you, like this video and subscribe for more true crime stories. Your support keeps Madeleine's name alive. No child should be forgotten. Thank you for watching.